Hey students, today we're going to look at substitution. So get out your Cornell notes that you got in class. Make sure that you're taking good notes because remember you're going to teach your non-lead teacher tomorrow. And we're going to look at how do I solve systems of equations by substitution. Well, to use substitution, you're going to use it when one equation is in standard form which remember is ax plus by equals c. Remember, that is standard form. And the other equation is in x equals or y equals form. Okay? So you're looking for one equation in standard form, and then the other equation is going to be in x equal or y equal form. That's when you'll use substitution. Now, let's look at example number 1. Example number 1, if you'll notice, we have one of our equations in y equals. So we know that y is x plus 2. So we're going to take x plus 2 and we're going to substitute it into where y is in the second equation. In the first equation. Okay, so I'm going to substitute it. So when I do that, I have 2x and then minus, and then now I put parentheses because I'm substituting in. And what's going to go in is x plus 2. And that's going to go in for y equals 1. And now I'm just going to solve for x. So the first thing I do, remember, is parentheses, so I'm going to distribute. I'm going to distribute a negative to both of these terms. So I have 2x minus x minus 2 equals 1. Sorry about the announcements, but let's keep going. And now we're going to combine like terms. Remember, in front of this 1, in front of the x, there's a 1 there. So I have 2x and a negative 1x. So 2x minus 1x gives me x minus 2 equals 1. Again, sorry about these announcements, but we're going to keep going.
Thank you.
Now, I'm trying to get x by itself. So I need to move the negative 2, so I'm going to add 2 to both sides. And then I'm left with x equals 3. Now, remember, a solution is x comma y. So let's write that up here. Solution is x comma y. So I have the x coordinate. Now I need to find the y coordinate. So I'm going to use the equation where y is already by itself, y equals x plus 2. And I'm going to take what x equals right here, and I'm going to substitute it where x is in my other equation. So I have y equals, now x is going to become 3 plus 2. So now just solve. What's 3 plus 2? 5. So my answer here is 3, 5. Okay? Because remember, x is 3, y is 5. And remember, for a solution, you have an x value and a y value. Now let's look at question number 2. So we're going to look at example number 2. So I have it in y equals. Now it won't always be in y equals. It can be in x equals. And so I'm going to take this and plug it into where y is in my first equation. So I'll have x minus, now parentheses because I'm substituting in, and I'm going to substitute x plus 4 in, equals -4. Now I'm going to solve. Remember, the first thing you take care of is your parentheses. So you're going to distribute the negative to both of these. And so you're left with x, and then negative times x is negative x, and then negative times 4 is a -4, equals 4. And now again, we're going to combine like terms. Remember, there's a 1 in front of both of these x's. Remember, it's imaginary. So I'm going to combine 1 minus 1. Well, if you notice, 1 minus 1 is 0, so these cancel out. So I no longer have an x. So I'm just left with -4 equals -4. Since I eliminated my variable is gone. I can't go any further. That's where I stop. And since these two numbers equal each other, my answer is infinitely many solutions. Okay? Because I no longer have an x or a y value when I solve. So since I no longer have an x or a y value, and the numbers equal, then it's infinitely many solutions. Okay, now let's look at our last example. We have y equals 2x minus 3, and then we have 2x minus 2y equals 2. So again, we have it in y equals. It will not always be in y equals. It can be x equals. But we're going to take this and we're going to substitute it into where y is in our second equation. So I'm going to have 2x and then minus 2 and then parentheses because I'm substituting in for y. Okay, and what I'm going to substitute in for y is 2x minus 3, close parentheses, and then it's going to equal 2. Now I'm just going to solve. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute. Remember, this is a -2. Take the sign with it, and we're going to distribute that to both terms. So we have 2x. -2 times 2x is -4x. And then -2 times a -3 is +6. Okay, so now we're going to combine like terms. So I have 2x minus 2x, which is going to give me -2x plus 6 equals 2. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides because I'm trying to get x by itself. And I have -2x equals -4. And then I'm going to divide by -2 on both sides. And so x equals 2. Now that I found out what x is, I need to find out what y is. So I'm going to use the equation where y is already by itself. Y equals 2x minus 3. And I'm going to take this 2 that I just solved for x, and I'm going to plug it into where x is. So I have y equals 2, parentheses, now x becomes a 2, minus 3. And now just solve. 2 times 2 is 4, minus 3 gives me 1. So my answer, my solution, is 2, 1. Okay, now what you need to do on this side of your Cornell notes is I need you to write 3 questions that could be used on a test. So basically you're writing 3 test questions, okay? So make sure that you write 3 questions that could be used on a test over what you just learned. And then at the bottom, I need you to write 2 to 3 sentences, okay? So you're going to write 2 to 3 sentences. Okay? And you can use the sentence stem. Today, I learned, and then you complete it. So you're going to write 2 to 3 sentences, and you can start with today I learned, and then complete it. Okay? So over here, on the left-hand column, you're going to write 3 questions that could be used on a test, or 3 test questions. And then on the summary, you're going to start with today I learned and write 2 to 3 sentences. Okay? And have these ready for tomorrow so you can teach your non-lead teacher and have a wonderful night. Remember, this is your grade.